Left, right, up, down. There we go.
Left, right, up,
right,
down.
up, down. Yeah.
Left, right, up.
What was the game of the year?
Hello and welcome to the Mirror Game Walkthrough, the weekly gaming news show. We've got a lot to talk about today, and luckily, this week the gaming news has slowed down a little bit from last week. It hasn't. We've got a lot to talk about. We'll be talking about the day before scandal, which is just mind blowing. So keep watching for that. We'll also be talking about reacting to the Game of the Year awards, the Game Awards, sorry, where one of the games that won, we'll have a talk about it amongst ourselves because we've done an internal one. There was a bit of a debate around it as well, and we'll also be touching on the fact that E3 was cancelled as well. But first, we'll have to make you watch the trailer. Are you prepared to go public with your KD online or
no?
Everyone thinks he or she is the best football expert on the planet.
You see it in the back page of the Mirror, deal agreed.
I think the most important thing is just to have fun.
What? 310?
No, what button is it?
well, hello.
We're ready to come for the W, yeah?
Ooh, 12.
Ooh, here we go.
If you can master second man press, you will defend 10 times better.
Today I'm going to be reviewing the PSVR 2 headset.
Hello and welcome back to the Mirror Gaming Walkthrough, the weekly gaming news show. Just to explain something before we started. So I pressed go live on my application here, and we have auto start disabled on YouTube. Even though it was disabled, it still started the stream. So apologies if you got some GLS dance moves in there. I don't know what I said
She
like
makes
that.
me wanna
JLS
dance moves.
Left, right, up, down. We were practicing.
Yeah,
that was
the I'm a Celeb reference. If anyone's been watching that. Sorry if you caught any JLS dance moves before, but it's not my fault. Blame YouTube, and sorry Jasmine as well for putting your dance moves out to the world.
Treasure it always.
Absolutely, that's a good segue into this week's show. We've got Jasmine and Aaron joining us today. How are you doing, guys? You all right?
Doing good. Feels like I haven't been on the podcast in ages, and then I realized it's because I've been not at work for 2 weeks.
Yes.
So I'm back.
What's it like to work for a living
baby.
again, Jasmine?
Oh, it's scary. I don't know what's going on. I'm so confused.
You've missed nothing gaming related since you've been away. Don't worry, nothing major has happened. And
it's not like GTA 6 came out. And I was going,
not
what
at
I mean?
all.
No,
yeah,
not like it leaked and then they had to release it. Nothing like that.
So glad I was off. I will say, like, I know that I don't cover software anyway, but just to not have witnessed what would have been like a fire in our Slack, I'm really glad that I wasn't here.
Yeah, it wasn't too. I mean, it was a bit of a fire, but it wasn't too bad, right? It was okay. Aaron, are you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've got my JLS dancing in, just before the pod, as is per. Obviously, the viewers don't know this, but that happens every time. Hey, we don't want to get copyright strike because that's very close to.
It sounds exactly like the song.
Exactly,
I was so confused. I thought Nathan was just playing the song right now.
We should get some like harmonies going between the three of us. So
maybe later. Although that might be a different show. We've already got Scott McRae in the chat, the gaming news, freelance gaming news writer for Mirror Gaming. I was the only one there. Was going to be Alan Wake too, but saw it leaked. But we've got a few topics to talk about this week. Why don't we start? Oh, actually, Jasmine, what did you think of the GTA 6 trailer?
It didn't do anything for me. Like,
what?
I knew you were going to react like this.
I'm gonna mute.
Okay, it literally didn't do anything for me. I didn't care about it, like, in the slightest. It's exactly what you expected a GTA 6 trailer to look like, and I'm not too invested in like the story of GTA. I mainly play GTA Online, so I think maybe that's why I didn't care. Because it's like, oh yeah, like here's the protagonist, and it's like, okay, wow. Oh, here's the map. Like, okay, wow. Like, we already knew that. That's it. That's what it did for me.
Okay.
Cool. Yep.
No. Thank you for your insight, Aaron.
We didn't know that Florida man was going to be in it, or alligators. So,
the social media hints where.
Yeah. To be fair, I did like that. The whole like nod towards like Facebook Live and Karens and stuff.
Live.
Live. Mixer.
I saw some Mixer. On that topic though, not to derail us too much, but I saw some like discussion on Twitter because obviously like the TikTok references and all that stuff.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, is TikTok going to be a thing by the time GTA 6 releases and stuff?" And I'm like, "Of course." Do you know
Guys,
what I mean?
TikTok's been around for like almost a decade now. Do you know what I mean?
I said that in last week's show to Matt. I said that
did
to Matt directly to Matt, who his role is dedicated to
his job.
I said to him directly, "Well, do you reckon you'll still be around in 2025 essentially?" And he said, "Yeah." But what I really
this
think
is what happens when old people try to talk about TikTok. No offense, Nathan. Do you think TikTok's still going to be around? It's been around for ages. It might be called something different, but like, you know, they call it musically, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
They said the same thing about Vine,
Fair
Jasmine,
enough.
and then
Well, Vine's actually gone. What kind of like
RIP.
example is that? What are you
Twitter buy it and then just close it down immediately?
Yeah, because it wasn't like profitable, right?
Yeah,
it's funny. Me and Aaron were literally talking about this like 2 weeks ago, and now here we are.
Vine.
Yeah,
we do miss Vine.
First Vine, now E3. What is the world coming to?
I know. And to be honest, just on that, I think it'd be so cool if Rockstar released like a social app where you could like record gameplay clips of yourself and then share that on the app. So you're basically taking footage of yourself in game and then putting it on an app where other people share gameplay clips. And it's like
Nathan's just describing like Medal right now, do you know, or like the hundreds of other clip sharing websites.
No, but like the one that could be the one, you know. But if everyone's playing GTA
okay.
6, I feel like that could be a good thing. But you know,
okay,
yeah. Aaron, what did you think of the trailer? I don't know if
did we not try it. I really like it. Like I was in the unique position where I had to write an Easter egg piece, so I had to watch it like 10 times in a row, back to back. So I wanted to, you know, jump off a bridge myself by the end of it. But I'm really happy to see that Tom Petty song, "Love Is a Long Road," like blown up and stuff. And obviously it was like the fastest YouTube trailer to earn 100 million views or something like that. Like it beat Mr. Beast, and it's a tight. A minute and a half. Me and my friends have this expression where we love it when a film is a quote unquote tight 90, aka 90 minutes or less. And this was the trailer equivalent. It was a tight 90 seconds. So much detail in there. And I'm really liking what we've seen so far from Lucia as the protagonist. And I'm surprised that Rockstar hasn't gotten a lot more crap because we know that this game's going to have 2 protagonists as opposed to 3. And that's perfectly fine with me. But I'm surprised that Rockstar isn't getting more crap from that because I can see most people seeing that as like a downgrade, but I think that's going to focus it a lot more because GTA 5's good, but the story's not like revolutionary.
Yeah. What's the tightest 90, Aaron?
What, like movie-wise? Oh, what could that be? Probably something like Predestination or Moon.
Okay.
Like, sci-fi films are generally quite good at being a tight 90 as long as they're not directed by Christopher Nolan.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Nice. And Mixer, Jasmine, I don't know if you remember this, but Mixer was the Microsoft streaming service that Ninja was paid like $50 million to go to, and then it shut down within 6 months or something. Do you not remember that?
Why would I know that? I'm sorry, I wasn't an avid Ninja fan. Like,
no, I mean he's still around.
I know Ninja's still around. He's in Fortnite
with the pink hair and stuff. Yeah.
I thought that was a bit just then. Do you seriously not remember what Mixer is, or have I gone through the looking glass? Or
no, I don't know what Mixer is. I've never heard of that before.
No, you're having me on. Anyway,
this is like the Oasis thing all over again.
Yeah,
I actually don't know what Mixer is. This isn't a bit.
This was only like 4 or 5 years ago, though. It was like a competitor.
Yeah,
to
it
Twitch.
wasn't. Yeah. Launched in 2016. Shut down in 2020.
Okay.
There you go.
But I've never heard of it. Sorry, guys.
Okay. Well, we've got some messages in the chat already. JD says social media can be supremely silly sometimes. Yeah, I guess. Will said I liked it. Looked like a Sean Baker film. Aaron, I don't know who Sean Baker is.
No, I don't know who Sean Baker is.
You don't know,
but
okay. Yeah, I mean you're on a film podcast, so
am I? I was once upon a time, but Toy Story apparently is a tight 90. That keeps coming up on people's lists.
Okay.
77 minutes.
Yeah.
It's a tight 78.
Yeah.
77 minutes. That's so short.
Do you know what I mean?
For a movie, yeah.
And Jasmine knows this, but I've got similar beliefs about like books as well. I think if a book's over 250 pages, I'm like,
oh, I'm done.
Not needed.
Get it away from me, right? Yeah.
Like, come on, guys, condense.
And talking of
Sorry, go.
Talking of things that are too short. The day before's release.
That was a lovely segue. I normally hate your segues, Nathan, but that one was really good.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
And can I just say, Sean Baker, he wrote and directed films, The Florida
We've
Project,
moved on.
The Red Rocket. Sorry, but I love Red
Aaron,
Rocket.
we've moved on.
All right, Mixer hater.
Yeah.
We've moved on.
So
Nathan just segued, and then you started talking about what we were talking
I
about.
did the perfect segue, and then just straight back.
Okay,
What are you
let's
doing?
rewind. What you
Okay.
doing, boy?
Yeah,
Back to
let's
the segue, Nathan,
let's
go on.
rewind. Let's rewind. Just like Fantastic would hope to rewind before they went bankrupt. There you go. Boom. So I'll give you the timeline of the day before, which is the game that was released on December the 7th, and it's now, as of December the 11th, it's now no longer for sale. So I'm going to give you the timeline, the rundown. The day before was first revealed in January 2021 with a gameplay trailer that showed the basic mechanics of the game. Fantastic, the developer, called the game a real breakthrough for the MMO survival genre. In October 2021, they announced the release date as the 21st of June 22. On May 22, a month before the initial release date, a delay was announced, citing a planned switch from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5. The new release date was set to be the 1st of March 2023. So this is already a near year delay from there. In January 2023, the page for the day before was pulled from Steam, with Fantastic stating on January the 25th there had been a trademark issue surrounding the title of the game, and announcing the release had been further delayed until the 10th of November. On February the 2nd, 2023, amid speculation, Fantastic released the new gameplay footage. However, shortly afterwards, videos relating to this were pulled from YouTube due to trademark complaints, which were not addressed publicly to this day. However, in November 2023, it was announced the game would release on Steam Early Access on the 7th of December. So another short delay, but it was coming. On the 11th of December, and it was released on the 7th of December 2023. But the reviews of this game, I don't think I've ever seen a game that has been reviewed so poorly, both critically and by players. It was mostly negative on Steam within hours. It went from the most wishlist game on Steam to one of the most poorly reviewed games on Steam. IGN's review gave it 1 out of 10. And this is a direct quote: "The day before is easily one of the worst games I've ever played, to the point where I'm afraid to continue running it on my PC. And if you don't manage to try it, you can count yourself lucky as one. You can count yourself as one of the lucky ones." Games Radar didn't give a review score at all. It has no redeeming qualities, and under no circumstances should you buy it. So there was already a lot of controversy around the game, around Fantastic's use of volunteers, and they're very clearly saying they need volunteers for the game to make this game. So there's also a lot of controversy around it as well. But on the 11th of December 2023, that's this week, Fantastic, that was on Monday, announced the closure of the studio, with the future of the day before being unknown, citing the game's poor financial performance. The game was completely removed from sale on Steam later that day. They did announce on Twitter. They announced this on Twitter, but as of today, that tweet is now deleted. So I don't know what's happened there. But the tweet today, we announced the closure of Fantastic Studio. Unfortunately, the day before has failed financially, and we lack the funds to continue. All income received is being used to pay off debts to our partners. We really want to release new patches to reveal the full potential of the game, but unfortunately, we don't have the funding to continue the work. That's led to many people questioning the game, why it even exists in the first place. And I've got a little screenshot here, which I'll enlarge for you guys, just to show. Someone tweeted them saying, unbelievable, you guys hyped this game up so much, and this is the end result. You guys are an absolute disgrace to the video game industry. Fantastic tweeted back, "This was our first big experience. Expletive happens." Great. What is this, the worst game launch ever?
What I don't understand, right, is that they did the hard bit, like making the game and marketing the game. I feel like those are the hardest bits. Those are making the game and then marketing the game. They did all of it. So what on earth is the point of them pulling it now? I get that it's a live service game. They don't want to support the servers for it anymore. But in that statement that's now deleted, they said that the servers would remain active. So that's another financial cost that they're going to incur, is keeping the servers active. It makes sense if they weren't doing that, but supposedly they are, right? So that's what is the point now of them taking the game off of Steam if they're in financial trouble? Surely they'd leave the game up and more people would buy it.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. So it was $39 for early access, and this is unreliable, but there's a few figures being bandied around. I've seen around 200,000 in sales, but then I've seen around 91,000 refunds, which is a near 50% refund rate, which isn't great. They also marketed as a MMO, but it wasn't. It was an extraction shooter. There was barely anything to do, barely any zombies. I've watched a lot of people stream it on the day of release just to see what went on. There's nothing to do. There's so many bugs. It looked like there's a lot of pre-used assets and a lot of AI art within the game as well. So it was an absolute mess from what I saw. But Aaron, do you want to? Yeah,
it's what it is. Yeah, sorry, I've stayed silent long enough. The day before, I don't know. I wasn't someone that like tracked like the development of this game. It was only when all this stuff was sort of like coming out that you heard stuff about this was at one time the most wishlisted game on Steam.
Yeah.
And I looked at some of the trailers and it looked like stunning, beautiful. They talked about like a dynamic day-night cycle, weather effects,
But there were no like gameplay trailers of this game at all. I remember that being a really big thing.
There was
that people were
one,
talking
but
about.
it looked pre-rendered. It didn't look
like
game footage.
I remember speaking about that on the podcast earlier this year.
Yeah.
About the trailers and stuff. Yeah. Me and Nathan, we were like talking about how this seemed like from when all of that was coming out, and about the game being delayed because the name changed and stuff. We spoke about all the way back then how this game was probably going to get pulled from Steam a week after release. That's literally what me and Nathan said on the podcast. And now here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that this was by Fantastic, because like I had a weird thing for me, like my brain sort of like, I don't know, turned up itself because their previous game, Prop Night, which is like a PvP prop hunt game mode essentially, where it kind of a mix with Dead by Daylight but with prop hunt. I actually reviewed like way back in the day, and I looked it up, and apparently mine was only one of the like scored reviews like up on like Metacritic and stuff. I don't know why else nobody like touched it or whatever, but now I'm trying to think like maybe something was sus all along in terms of how they promoted this game, their reasons for making it, etc. Because in their statement where they said that they were shutting down, they released basically a game per year until 2019, which is when Prop Night released, and then from that stretch on basically they supposedly made the day before. But you only need to look at anyone's gameplay to know that if they really took 5 years to make this game, and people have found like there's a list of like the majority of the assets in the game and sort of like where it's all come from, and there's nothing wrong with buying assets either as a placeholder and things of that nature, but yeah, like
do you see insane.
That that is freaky, isn't it? Look at that.
That's so scary.
I thought it was a billboard to begin with, but it's like
so did I.
Yeah. What is that? I'm with her. Look
at
the floor.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Look at that.
What is that? Is that his organs? Is that his organs?
Is this the Attack on Titan game we've all been waiting for?
You know what I mean? What is this?
That was scary.
Oh, it just goes away.
It's gone.
It just goes away.
Good riddance. But look at the floor.
Yeah.
When you ADS, look at the floor.
Yeah.
My god.
Yeah. When you look down the site, as I'm going to stop sharing the screen. I'll look for a few more as you're talking because there are so many that I want to show you.
Well, but basically, this is like the worst case I've seen of somebody over-promising and under-delivering.
Oh yeah.
You don't think No Man's Sky was worse?
Oh no way. Because No Man's Sky, okay, they may have quote unquote lied about what it would end up being, but at least it functioned as a game.
As a game,
and the core premise. Yeah. It stayed true to what it was, like telling people that this is an MMO and you're barely coming across anyone.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Is this the?
This is the opening. This is the.
Oh, what's happened to Nathan's microphone?
You ready?
Oh yeah. Okay, he's back. Yeah.
This is. Are you seeing this?
Oh my god.
Love it. $40, please. And I know that Steam, usually you can't get a game refunded if you played over 2 hours, right? But they're making an exception for a day before. So hopefully people can get their money back.
There are. I could show you so many clips like this. They're just, if you just type in the day before on Twitter, and just go through it. You can all enjoy it at your own leisure. It is absolutely astonishing.
But
This game,
fantastic. Like Aaron was saying, they put out Prop Night, and I don't know how that was received in terms of reviews, but I know that it was a very popular game on social media. People put clips out of it on TikTok all the time. People were still streaming it even earlier this year, and I think people only started to move away from it after this experience with the day before. So realistically, they already had a relatively successful game that they could have just springboarded off the back of if they were just hoping to make money, and they could have continued to be a relatively successful studio. So what on earth was the point of this? And they've just completely had to shut down their entire studio supposedly and disappear. What? I don't understand. I need an explanation. I need a point evidence explanation paragraph from you. Fantastic.
That's the weirdest thing, because like Prop Night, like I played it. It worked as a game. It was buggy. It was glitchy. It was derivative, but it functioned. And I think it's an example of like, okay, we've got an online game, relatively popular. Now let's like aim for the next sort of ambition that we've got, and we're going to make this MMO online. You know, The Last of Us, but online, which is what a lot of people were calling it as. But it clearly hasn't worked out. They overextended themselves, and now they find themselves in this position. But I will say, I think this is the shortest a game's ever like come out and then the studio's gone. I might be wrong. I think there was that. What's his name? Cliff Brzezinski started a studio after he left Epic, and I think it was like Cache Rocks, not something like that. But there was an online shooter where basically I remember reading the preview of it in Edge, and by the time that the preview was printed in Edge, the game was already shut down. So like then that was a couple of weeks. But imagine being part of the crew that were like, I played it. I was there the day before. Like, was it a crapshoot? Yeah, but what a claim.
I mean, even like people like Dr. Disrespect were streaming it. Like a big streamers were streaming it, and I think he described the game as like an 8th grade school project, like the way it sort of felt. And the reuse of assets, and like the way it's just so everything about Fantastic for me. Everything that I've looked at just before the day before even came out, everything was weird. Like the YouTube videos where they had like 2 people on like deck chairs talking about how great it is to volunteer, and then like
the fact that they were looking for volunteers at all. They were looking for unpaid volunteers to make their game. And the thing is that in the games industry, it is so easy to exploit people willing to do unpaid work because how difficult it is to get into the industry. People, they know that people are willing to do that work for free. That's why they took advantage of them. And I think that's so horrible that they did that. And then on top of that, the fact that they didn't trademark the name of their game before announcing it, that was a whole weird thing. It's like, oh yeah, like
sloppy.
Our name's been stolen and the trademark's been stolen for it. And it's like, yeah, because you announced it to the world. Anyone can then go and trademark it after that. Anyone. Like, what is going on here?
You know, the thing that surprised me the most was that it even came out at all. I was convinced it wasn't real.
Yeah, that is what we said.
I was convinced that it didn't even exist, you know, and it would just be delayed and delayed and delayed, and then eventually they'd just say, "Oh, we couldn't make it for any reason." But the fact that they actually
pre-orders and then disappear or something,
but the fact they didn't open it for pre-order—that's the thing. They didn't open it for pre-order at all until the time that it came out, and then you were able to buy it. So it wasn't like they were taking people's money and then launching something, and then it was really weird the way that it all happened.
They've done it in such a way to avoid like lawsuits or something. I feel like with a pre-order, there's probably a different situation in that they're promising something.
Literally,
you're promising something. It needs to fill that promise. Whereas when you're buying the game the way that it is in the state at release, you have more information. I feel like
they have opened them up. I agree with you, Jasmine, for the most part. Like, I think there's going to be a technicality in terms of like whether you take people's money before or after the game is released. But mark my words, we're going to start hearing about like lawsuits sometime soon. Like, there's always someone crazy enough to threaten lawsuits in situations like this.
I mean, I don't think this is crazy to do that in this situation.
But then the only thing they can say is that they lied in their trailers. Like, that would be the thing. They lied. I bought something thinking it was one thing. But then, what money are they going to give you if you do sue them? Because they've already made it clear they're in debt up to their eyelids. And who's going to do it? Do you know what I mean? Like,
they're in debt up to their eyelids?
According to if you take them at face value, who's
What
funded
partners?
this?
What partners? What like who are they? Who are they in debt to? There was no financial backing for this project. Clearly.
Well, who's their publisher?
So their publisher is MyToner, which is a global group of companies specialised in video game development and publishing. So they released a statement. They released a statement on December the 11th to all the day before players. Such a weird way of phrasing that. As the investor of the day before, we'd like to provide some updates on the current situation around the game. We are very sorry for the fact the game didn't meet the expectations of the majority of the players. Today, we'll work with Steam to open up refunds for any players who choose to make a refund. We're in contact with Fantastic regarding the future of the game, and they haven't responded.
You're bankrolling them.
The
way they're putting that. Oh, sorry.
The day before has also been given the dreaded extra context Twitter as well. So when the day before launched, there's a little Twitter note under it saying this game was falsely advertised for years as an MMO survival game and is an extraction shooter. The game's Steam page is linked to the original post. Clearly states this. Read reviews before purchasing this game. Too late now.
My favorite thing about that extra context feature is when it appears on ads that Twitter is serving me.
Love
that. Love when money from companies that have to be clarified.
Yeah,
but it's just a whole like. Thank God this didn't release on console because then it would get messy. I think when you've got like PlayStation, Xbox involved, it wouldn't have even passed their QA process.
No. So MyToner.
I think this is the thing. Sorry. Go on.
MyToner of published games such as Cooking Diary, Restaurant Game, Outfire.
Oh yeah, just classic.
Tasty Makeover, Match 3 game, Seeker's Notes, Hidden Objects, and
Professionals,
Prop Night.
Specialists.
So yeah, they are. They're based in New Zealand, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they also launched Tasty Makeover as well in 2021.
Oh yeah, that's one of my faves.
Yeah.
Is that a game or a Netflix documentary series? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
bit of both.
Yeah. So I haven't got much confidence that anything's going to happen with the day before, but
this is what I'm saying with this publishing company. What's it called? MyToner.
MyToner, yeah.
How much financial support are they really giving Fantastic when those are the games that they've published? What finances do you think they have to then support Fantastic? This is what I'm saying. Fantastic aren't in as much debt as they're claiming to be. That's something that they've said to the world so that people feel sorry for them and don't get refunds. Or people like sort of let them off with refunds, if you know what I mean. I think that's why they said that. I don't think they're in debt. Who are they going to be in debt to?
We don't know. We don't know. But if that's your opinion, fair enough.
Oh yeah, this is just my opinion, obviously. But I just want to after all of the controversy that they've had over the past however many years with this game, this isn't just this whole time it's been fine and now suddenly this has happened. There's been breadcrumbs for ages about something's
people have
wrong.
Noticed those breadcrumbs as well. But
that's what I'm saying. Who would have invested in it?
Well, who would have bought the game? 300,000 people did on day one. And then it dropped to
3,099.
I didn't say that. I'm not calling out anyone that bought this game. If you wanted to give this game a go, that's your business.
But I'd be curious, how many people of that number bought it just out of sheer curiosity, as opposed to, this game looks good. I can hear everyone talking about it. Let's try. Those are the ones I feel
for a streamer or a content creator. £39 to pay for content is probably quite cheap, right? If you can laugh at the game and get people on the stream. So in that sense, then it's like a must buy almost. Exactly.
Sorry guys, if you can hear nonsense, my cats are just misbehaving all the time.
I can't hear anything. But
okay, good.
But can you hear any nonsense, Aaron?
I can hear a little bit of jingling, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's just them running around and knocking stuff over.
Have you even got a fireplace, Jasmine?
No.
So it can't be Santa then. It's
have
too
your
early
cats
as well.
Played the day before? Have they got an opinion on what's going on? Are they
Well,
invested?
I think one of my cats, who's the one that's creating a ruckus right now, literally doesn't have a brain in her head to even try to play the day before with. So I could not tell you. She's so empty-headed. It's so sad.
Well, we've got some breaking news actually about the PS Plus extra premium titles. GTA 5.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
It wasn't that on Game Pass for a while.
It comes and it goes on Game Pass. It comes for like 3 months, I think, and then it flies off again because this always happens. Yeah. But this will be its first time on.
I mean, I think I have GTA 5 because Epic gave it away for free for a while.
It's on the Epic Game Store, is it?
Yeah. It's on the Epic Game Store. They gave it away for free a while ago. You know how Epic always give away games for free every week? One week it was GTA 5, and that's why I have it. Otherwise, I wouldn't even own it because I barely play it.
They're about to gear up for their 12 days of Christmas as well on Epic.
Yeah.
This is why I love Epic Games, and this is why I love handhelds that are on Windows. Anyway, sorry.
We need the Epic Game Store to make money so it can continue doing things like this. Come on, guys.
Metal Hellsinger is also on PS Plus. Salt and Sacrifice, Moon Scars, Mega Man 11, Gigabash, Grime, Tinykin, Prodeus, Shadowrun Returns, Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut, Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition. I'm not going to go through them all, but they're just some of the highlights. And MotoGP 23.
Do you know what? I platinumed like MotoGP like 15 or something on PlayStation Vita. Yeah, I don't know why.
Are you a biker? I didn't have you down as a biker, dude.
No, I'm not really, but it was free on PlayStation Plus, and I was like, it looks pretty good for a handheld game, and I was, following the racing line. Anyway,
nice, Jasmine.
What a weird random game to have platinum. Yeah. Sorry, Nathan. Go on.
You know what I mean?
As a biker, are you interested in MotoGP 23? No.
Just get that in before you can even finish the question. No,
I'm not.
Jasmine, do you know who Valentino Rossi is?
No.
Okay, that tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah, that answers all everyone's questions.
I just want to say, like, if you ever ask me, Jasmine, do you know who this person is? Jasmine, do you know this song? Jasmine, do you know this band? Jasmine, have you watched this movie? The answer is always going to be no, because you guys are from a whole different generation to me. Please know that.
That's true.
Please know that.
True. Just to finish off this topic, to round it off in a nice rounded way. Do we think the day before he's gone forever? Is it ever coming back? Is that it? Is it gone?
Can it come back from this?
It's gone.
It's gone forever.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how the servers are still up. Like, I think that'll go in a couple of weeks.
There are some rumors that Fantastic have simply changed their name. That's some of the rumors that are happening right now to 8 points.
Right.
Not sure what's going on with that, but they are the rumors. So maybe they are maybe they are gearing up for a big relaunch. I don't know, but we'll have to wait and see. We've got some comments in the chat. JD says the worst game launch has many contenders. No Man's Sky was worse because we expected a standard of quality that wasn't met and was misrepresented in trailers and pre-release footage.
But that's exactly what's happened with the day before. And worse,
but that was playable though. No Man's Sky was playable as an actual game. You could actually play it. It also says, I'm not into MotoGP and I'm aware of Valentino Rossi. There you go, JD. Is aware of Valentino Rossi.
Can I just respond to JD's other comment?
Go
you could always listen to books on Audible if physical copies are too long. It's not the fact that they're too long, JD. I'm reading MCU, The Reign of the MCU right now, and that's like 470 pages, non-fiction book. What I'm saying is that I think most stories go on a bit. Do you know what I mean? And 250 pages. It's all about pacing, basically.
I think this is the thing, though. I think it depends on whether or not you're reading fiction or non-fiction. Non-fiction, I could easily sit down and read hundreds and hundreds of pages. Fiction, like a story, that does not need to be more than 250 pages. 100% no. Like, I started reading this book called The American Roommate Experiment. It just... I gave it a proper go. I got 50 pages in. That's like a proper go, right? And we were still in the it's like it's love story. We're still in this stage where they only just met, and we're 50 pages in. So do you know, I'm going to be reading so many pages of this whole and I get that slow burn. Some people think it's just not mine. It's not mine. Get on with it.
Yeah, I'll wrap it up. Well, we'll talk more about that in a minute. Oh, that was a perfect segue. But has anybody seen a copy of Stephen King's It on a shelf? Too big.
Oh yeah, it's like this big. It's literally huge.
Wow,
it's so
unbelievable.
Big.
Can someone tell George R.R. Martin as well that he doesn't have to go on and on with Winds of Winter? Like, we've been waiting for that book.
Come on, George.
For like over a decade now. Apparently, it's apparently to date It's 1,100 pages, and it will eventually reach 1,500 pages.
Good value for money. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're paying for a book, you really get a book there. Like,
And with
his job as a writer is to write books. He's not writing this book. Just get it written.
It's
Martin.
Never coming out. It's never coming out.
But
the day before all over again.
I need to know that ending of Game of Thrones wasn't what it was supposed to be. I need to know.
Yeah.
Because that was horrible.
Adam L says, wait until Jasmine discovers the Lord of the Rings books.
Yeah.
Quote, bracket, unobjective masterpiece. Right, Adam L, I read the first Fellowship of the Ring, the book, Fellowship of the Ring. There was an entire chapter, in fact, it might have even been 2, where Frodo and the gang get caught in a tree and are trying to get out.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so
rid.
unnecessary.
Tolkien, you're a
I
master,
don't want all this like filler.
Out.
I don't want all of this crap in there. Just give me the plot. I don't need filler. I don't need all of this back. Like, just get on with it.
Do you know what I think it is? I think because we're all three of us come from a journalistic background, we're taught to be edited and to edit and to be concise and things like that.
Yeah.
And in like, narratives, fiction books, you can be a bit flowery, add detail and stuff like that. And it's perfectly cool. Just choose writers that write the way you like. It works for some people. I'm just saying, for me, I've not
whole page in this book I read that just described the guy's eye color, and it's like, yeah, we get it. He's got blue eyes.
Yeah,
that's bad editing as well, as far as I'm concerned.
I wouldn't imagine the people that have got to sub that 1,500 pages of George R.R. Martin
and fact check it as well.
Adam L, today I learned that the Mirror Gaming team hate good fiction with world-class world building. Adam, have you read every single Lord of the Rings book cover to cover? Tell me right now.
That's a really specific question.
Have you had a chicken?
Well, he said that it discovers Lord of the Rings books. So if Adam L has read every Lord of the Rings book from cover to cover, fair enough. But if you haven't, then you're on the same page.
Almost like
as us.
Opinions are subjective. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
but
but Adam L said that Lord of the Rings was an objective masterpiece. Like, absolutely not. I mean, absolutely not.
It's good. Nothing's perfect. That's my point.
Yeah,
it's not good. But carry on.
And I will carry. Well, let's get back on to the. Is this a video game podcast? Yes, I think it is. Let's move on to the Game Awards, which happened. Adam L, I've been discovered as a poser. There you go. All done. All sorted. That's nipped in the bud.
Go and read the chapters about Frodo in the tree. Read it.
The Game Awards happened. There was winners.
Yep.
Baldur's Gate 3, Game of the Year, best performance, best RPG.
Good stuff, Nathan. I like that. The Game Awards happened. There were winners. Thanks for listening, guys.
I didn't need to go any further really on that, did I? Best multiplayer game, best community support and player's voice. Alan Wake also took home best game direction, best narrative, best art direction. Forza Motorsport took home best sports racing game.
Before we go any further, can I just ask, how many awards did Starfield win?
Hang on, let me just scroll down.
Have a look. Control F that bad boy. Let's have a look.
Control F Starfield.
I don't know why Nathan's putting on this show like he didn't review Starfield with 4 stars and play 60 hours of it. Waffle.
It didn't win anything, but neither did Marvel Spider-Man 2, which was nominated for a lot of it as well. Just first of all, before we talk about the event itself and some of the controversy around it as well, any major complaints with any of the winners? Happy overall, or do you think that there was some in there that you disagreed with?
I just want to say League of Legends won an award, and Starfield didn't. So
what best esports event?
Best esports event.
Yeah, but that's an event. It's not the game.
And the best esports athlete was Faker. He's a League of Legends player.
Even I know who Faker is.
And
I don't play League of Legends.
The best esports game was Valorant.
Yes.
Okay. So, and obviously that's another one of my crap games that I love playing that everyone hates.
Riot cleaning up.
So I'm just saying, Starfield's not on that list, but League of Legends is technically on there twice, and Valorant is on there too. So, sorry, Xbox.
Okay.
My one complaint is that, and I think this game got an award, but the fact that it got this award indicates to me that it was a failure. Didn't Cyberpunk 2077 win best ongoing game? And last I checked, that wasn't really a live service game.
Did it?
Or I believe that's correct. And obviously, this might be because there's no like best DLC category. If Phantom Liberty came this year, they wanted to give it its flowers. But for me, and I say this every time the Cyberpunk conversation comes up, I'm like, when are they going to stop updating this game with 1.2 all this stuff?
They've stopped now. They've stopped now.
Finally, thank God for that.
They've said that they're moving on to the next project. Yeah,
a game I'm actually excited for, because the fact that you've had to update the game so much indicates just how much it was broken in the first place. I've not played Phantom Liberty yet. CD Projekt Red technically owe me a copy of Phantom Liberty because I bought that Xbox One X Cyberpunk edition, which comes free with it.
Oh,
but
yeah.
But because that DLC is only exclusive to PS5 and Xbox Series X,
right?
Like they've not honored that, and I'm like, interesting.
Okay. You actually sound like really upset about this. Like,
I am upset.
I didn't realize this was an issue.
That was like how nobody's like sued for that or whatever. Like I'd never do it, obviously, because I've got a life to live. But like I was sold something on the promise of something that didn't come. Now they don't know I've upgraded to the Xbox Series X, but Microsoft does. And why isn't Microsoft telling CD Projekt Red? Anyway,
why don't you just email CD Projekt Red? Maybe they just forgot. I don't know what you want from them.
I'm broken. You broke me. You want me to email on everybody who bought that special edition Cyberpunk?
Contact at cgproductreg.com.
Do you know what I mean? Like he's sitting here whining about it. They don't even know.
Hello there. Can you please help me with my problem? I'm trying to upgrade. That's all you need to do. Just a nicely worded email.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Why are CD Projekt Red just not talking about this when Phantom Liberty came out?
But
anyway, they won Best Ongoing Game, which is a failure. So it's
completed Cyberpunk 2077 on an Xbox One X. And then when the Xbox Series X version came out, you could upgrade for free to that. So is that your issue, that they're not upgrading you for free to the next gen version, or the current gen version? Sorry,
not really, because it's Microsoft that did that, though. That was their policy, wasn't it? It's sort of like if it's an Xbox.
He's complaining about not getting the DLC.
Yeah, Phantom
Liberty, it's game per game though. It's game per game. So for example, the EAFC Xbox edition that has something called what's it called? Like,
I know what you mean, though. It's like upgrade free or whatever.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But when you bought the special edition Cyberpunk 2077 Xbox One X console,
right? The console, yeah. Okay.
Just like how people are buying the Starfield Premium Edition now, and it's promising the future DLC.
Yeah.
It said you'll get the Cyberpunk 2077 DLC. We didn't know it was called Phantom Liberty at the time. We thought there was more coming, but they reduced it to one.
Yeah.
That has never come to anybody who's bought that console, as far as I'm aware.
But
anyway, I'll derail it again.
The support.
Do you know what I mean? Like, just send them an email. Send them an email.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll help you out.
He's got the energy to sit and complain on the podcast, but not to send an email. God, blimey!
I'm fighting for the little guy here. The little guy.
You're not fighting for anyone. You're just complaining on the podcast. You know what I mean? You're not done anything. He's just coming here and whining. Like they don't know that they owe you.
You know what it is? When we've talking about Cyberpunk, as he's talking, he's just remembered in the back of his head that this has happened, and he's forgot to ask them. That's what's happened, I think.
Oh no!
Here we go.
Okay.
That's a sick console.
Right. What am I meant to do with this? Hold on. It's not going to be here on the small print.
So, Aaron, my theory is that as you were talking about Cyberpunk, you remembered that you'd forgotten to complain about it, and then you're just using this as a vehicle for your anger.
Right, it doesn't say it anywhere on the box.
See, because you made it up. You made it up.
No, this was a thing. I promise you guys. But here it is, the proof that I own it.
There we
What's
go.
it called? The proof that no one doubted that you owned it. I don't know why. The proof.
What
that
a
I
cool
owned
console, though. What a cool console. I'll
It
tell you what.
cool. It comes with a cool controller as well.
Xbox One X.
I'm searching it now.
Yeah, that's you know what? This has turned into it. We're going to solve. This has turned into this troubleshooting episode here. We're going to try and sort this for you.
Cyberpunk 2077 Xbox One X console owners to get the DLC reimbursed. Okay, so did you buy it and get it reimbursed then?
Not to my knowledge. Where's my email? Where's it to? Has confirmed that reimbursements will be issued to those who purchased. Owners.
Did you purchase it and reimburse it?
Unfortunately, it's not known when or how these reimbursements will be issued.
Okay, so buy it and then email them, email support and say, hey, I bought it and I want my reimbursement now. Can you tell me how? Did you do that? I don't think
All
you
right,
did.
I'll do that, guys, and I'll update you on the next podcast. But why me as a customer? Like, this needs to be a blanket policy.
Are there any leaflets with like QR codes in there? That little piece of paper that you're missing out?
Guys, when did Cyberpunk come out? 2020?
2019, wasn't it? Wasn't it 2019, December 2019?
Yeah.
Oh, was it? No, I thought it was I think it was 2020 because it was like just before the PS5 came out, but I don't know.
It was. When did it come out? It came out 2020. Correct. Yeah. The Xbox
correct.
Series X
just like
version.
I'm correct about this. I just like to point out everyone's questioning my authority here. I think as
no
consumers,
one's questioning your authority. You're right to be. You're right to be concerned.
Yeah.
What I'm questioning is whether or not you've done anything about this concern before you come onto our podcast and complain to the public.
That's a fair question, Aaron. Have you done
look,
anything
I brought it up
to try
as
and get this?
as a throwaway thing.
It's not a throwaway thing. You got out your chair. What are you talking about? A throwaway thing? You got out your chair and went to another room in your house and went and got the box.
It's true.
What are you talking
to
about?
prove.
It was a throwaway thing, guys. I'm not that invested in it.
Anyway, CD Projekt Red.
My face just went red for fun.
Is the
You
thing.
know what I mean? What are you talking about?
Look, I've just brought joy in both your lives. There
Well,
you go.
you have, Aaron. Thank you for that. That was a laugh that I needed. Thank you very much for that. Any other games you weren't happy with or curious about?
I'm like, I know Sea of Stars won Best Indie Game, which would have been my choice. It was a tough category. I think this year's been really strong for indie games. JD in the chat saying Venba, Dredge, Dave the Diver. But Dredge and Venba I agree with, and also I would have liked to have seen Blasphemous 2 in there. But other than that, it was to be expected, right? We knew that Baldur's Gate 3 was going to clean up. I'm glad that Alan Wake 2 got the recognition it deserved. Highlight of the night was Herald of Darkness, the Alan Wake 2 dance number, which played. Flute guy was back. He had the biggest flute ever. He was like really playing up to the camera. But anyway, we made a joke earlier about the whole please wrap it up thing. The main issue was how quickly people were ushered off the stage, and how it's come out now that I think was it like 30 minutes of the show was actually dedicated to awards in an awards show, and it was almost like 3.5 hours long. Just to answer JD's question, what was wrong with Dave the Diver? I know there's been some controversy about whether or not it should classify as an indie game, is all I was referencing. I've not played it, but that's what I was talking about there.
Yeah. Do you want to explain a bit more about the fact that game developers and award winners weren't given any time to speak, but celebrities were? Because that was a big controversy as well, including Neil Newbern as well, who was dedicating his award to someone who died during the development of the game, I believe, and then was given shown a card saying, "Please wrap it up."
So
in
that
the middle
was
of his speech.
That wasn't Neil Newbern in that instance.
Oh, wasn't
it was Sven Vinky, I believe is how you say his surname, who's the lead of Larian Studios. And I think it's too easy to forget that Larian Studios is completely independent. Like, they're not owned by anybody. And all of this success that they've received this year is completely on them. And I don't believe it was during the actual Game Awards award. It was during when they were receiving another one of the 7 that they won. That, he tried dedicating it to a particular member of the team who sadly passed away during development, because obviously they were still developing during COVID. And the music started playing while he was trying to say it. And then I've seen footage of the camera turning to show the please wrap it up thing. It was just very distasteful. And we don't have to get into it now fully because time's running out, and it's a very nuanced topic. But it was sad to see that the Game Awards didn't pay any attention to the amount of job losses that have happened in the game industry this year. I get that this was meant to be a celebration of everyone's creativity, but everyone said it's simultaneously the best year for games and the worst year for games. And right now it seems that, leaning into Christmas, not a day goes by where a team isn't getting made redundant due to the incompetency of those at the top. And, I want to particularly call out Embracer Group. They don't care who I am, but to invest so much money into so many teams and then to shut them down before they've had the chance to release one game, it just smacks of mismanagement. And to see not Jeff reference any of this, it makes sense why Jeff doesn't reference this. He wants to he doesn't want to burn any bridges. He wants people to go to his show to advertise their games. That's fine. But to not let the people on stage at least address that subject as the creatives themselves. Jeff isn't a creative, in lieu of Anthony Mackie talking about his leg for what felt like 6 minutes. Matthew McConaughey going on about something else. I like Matthew McConaughey. Interstellar's great. And then even dragging the Muppets into this, silly jokes with Gonzo. I feel like the whole Muppet thing's just it's been and gone now, Jeff. You've done it one too many times. It was cute when you first did it. But, there's just my thoughts. I think it was really sad, to be honest. And it's basically a giant advertisement is the Game Awards, isn't it? We all know what it is, but it was still disappointing to see.
Yeah, Adam, I'm aware of the creative assembly job losses, but has there been an industry-wide occurrence? I'm out of the loop. Adam, we could be here for hours talking about every single company that's laid off people, but even EA, everyone from EA to Insomniac Games to Hasbro today has let go
Bungie.
1,100 employees. That's the makers of the D&D franchise. Can you think of any others, Aaron, off the top of your head this year?
But Bungie, they've suffered layoffs to the extent that the new DLC has to be the expansion was delayed. Naughty Dog, they laid off a bunch of contractors, I believe, if it wasn't internal. Free Radical Design have just been shuttered by Embracer Group. Honestly, Adam, I don't know how you've missed all this, but yeah, it's pretty crazy.
What caused it, Adam? I think one of the there's numerous factors, but I think one of the theories is that during COVID, obviously there was a big rise in player numbers, and there was a lot of hiring behind that as well, and people really trying to push it forward, and then stakeholders expected a certain amount of profit from that, and they promised a certain amount of profit, and then when the world sort of went back to normal and the profits weren't where they expected it to be, that's when stakeholders have to take this sort of action, which the way it works is it's not great for people who work for that company, but that's one of the reasons in basic facts, essentially. And it's a massive shame because it has been an amazing year for games, and it was a shame to just see not even acknowledge, just sort of brushed over under the carpet was it was a bit strange. And this sort of wrap it up thing, I think
the two are linked. Like you didn't want to give them too much time to even think about talking about that sort of stuff.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's not been confirmed. And I know Jeff, in soon after the show left, he came on Twitter and said, I agree, it was being wrapped up. I tried telling them, extend the time and stuff, but at the end of the day, he's running the show. And like we can only go on what we saw.
That's what I was just gonna say. Is that him going onto Twitter and trying to sort of defend himself after there's been backlash? Like, would he have said something had there not been backlash? Did he really care? Like, obviously not. Otherwise, something would have been done about it before the show went on.
Yeah.
It's just like one of those things. Like now that he's being forced to take accountability for it by the public, now he has to. Otherwise, he wouldn't have. There was no accountability from him. It's his show. Like, if he wanted to give people more time, he easily could have done so. I think that was really cheeky of him to try and defend himself.
Yeah. What do we also make about Christopher Judge as well? Obviously, the guy that voiced Kratos in the God of War. He came out and said that his speech would be longer than the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 campaign.
So I thought it was funny, to be honest.
Yeah,
because
a lot of Call of Duty developers did not think that was funny.
But if I was like, okay, so let's say I'm a developer.
It started a bit of a war on Twitter, like between Call of Duty developers and Christopher Judge. They're really not happy with it.
And do you know what? Like, it got so petty from some of these like individual developers. Like, I don't know if you could find the response where it was something like, "Oh, sucks to not have a game with a long engagement time with players." Like, what are you even talking about right now?
Single player game versus multiplayer live service.
What are you talking about? Like, that really got my goat. I was like, "Oh yeah, is that how we're measuring success of games now? Is it how long?" I know that's how a lot of people do measure the success of games, but my God, we have lost that game should be enjoyable and fun regardless of how long they take, or like, whatever. Nothing wrong with moving on games once you're done with it. I just want to make that clear. God, I surprised myself with how passionate I got there. But like if I'm a Call of Duty developer, if I'm an Activision, I get that you work hard, and he is not slighting your work on that game, but there's no denying that from a consumer point of view, a 3 to 4 hour campaign, considering the resources you've got, is not acceptable. Not acceptable, especially considering when everything I've seen from the Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer stuff so far is recycled from either previous Call of Duty games or Warzone.
That's what I was going to say. If they wanted to put out a fresh multiplayer game and update the multiplayer aspects of what they were doing, because obviously that is why most people continuously play Call of Duty and Warzone. They keep going back to it, and like these developers say, it has people always there because that's what people go to. But all the multiplayer stuff I've seen from Modern Warfare 3 is the same as it's always been. It's nothing fresh, it's nothing new. Even the maps are being recycled, and I know that that's what a lot of the community wanted. I know the community wanted to see old maps coming back, but they're not even remastered, refreshed. It's literally the exact same map, just stuck back in. And I get that there's like some, okay, we have to appeal to our player base and stuff like that, but there has to be a balance, and there's been no balance. If you know you're going to be reusing assets for the multiplayer aspect of the game, put more work into the campaign. Make sure the campaign isn't 3 to 4 hours long. Make sure you can't finish the campaign all in one sitting. That's a joke to me. The thought of sitting and playing a single player game like that you're paying what, 60 quid for?
More than that for the Vault Edition. It was 100 quid, I think. For the
That's
Vault
what
Edition.
I'm saying. The fact that you can sit and play that in one sitting is bizarre to me.
I pretty much did, yeah. And the thing as well is that some of the longest missions were called open combat missions, which are supposed to be like, oh, this is a great way of like playing the game because it's like, sort of like Hitman meets Call of Duty. You can like go off and work out your own way to do the mission.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of those missions were like recycled multiplayer maps where you just put the player in there and you're within a multiplayer map and there's just AI around you. So the effort that went into those specific missions was like basically nothing because the map's already there. The AI is already there.
With the Call of Duty franchise at the minute is where it's at is they know that Warzone is their most successful
Call of Duty Mobile is by far the most popular.
I'm saying like they know that people are going to keep playing Warzone.
Engagement.
They know that people are, like they're not fussed about selling copies of Modern Warfare 3 particularly, are they? Like they make most of their money from in-game transactions in Warzone from Call of Duty Mobile. So that's why they just know that they have to keep putting games out in order to keep people talking about Call of Duty, remembering that Warzone exists and coming back to it. Sorry.
That's all right. It's unbelievable to me seeing the state of Call of Duty has gone like in just a couple years now. Like as someone who bought Call of Duty every year to play the campaign, 8 to 12 hours, perfect roller coaster ride. And, I dipped into some of the multiplayer. I really enjoyed Black Ops Cold War's multiplayer. People might, take the mick out of me for it, but I bought into the get enough COD points to buy the next season and all that jazz. Me and a couple of friends got into that. There's a way to keep people engaged, providing it's fair and you create new content. But I have to say, like, this is my personal opinion, but the way that Call of Duty has just become slavish to Warzone in the past couple of years has been detrimental to the brand. And this constant race to the bottom.
Warzone's not even doing that well.
Do you know what I mean? Compared to other
battle
royales, Nathan's just said that even Call of Duty Mobile performs better than Warzone. And yet the zombies mode this year is all based around Warzone. It's not a round-based sort of like horde-based mode. It's go on this big map, complete
world
objectives, come back. I'm like, what are you doing, guys? And I guess there's a case to be made that Modern Warfare 3 is the exception because I don't care what anybody says. That game started off as DLC and they promoted it to a full game. It's
100%.
So, and the fact that they're still charging for a full price game. Anyway, this is a roundabout way of saying if I was a Call of Duty Activision developer right now and I worked on that game, would I be proud of my work? Probably, but you have to acknowledge that you are a small cog in a big machine and there's nothing wrong with someone else, a fellow peer, taking issue with something that is definitely a problem. And I guess I get that emotions are running high as soon as someone makes a quote unquote funny joke. But hey, don't take it personally, my dude, because he's just trying to make your job easier and better, if you can believe it.
Barry Sloan, who plays Captain Price in the campaign, tweeted that Christopher Judge guy writes all his own material. I hear talented, and then a clown emoji to Christopher Judge.
Hashtag not my Captain Price.
Yeah, that's a bit cringe.
What on earth are you even talking about?
Yeah, we've got RyXO in the chat. Hi, Roy. Thanks so much for watching. Watching some of our FC24 streams as well. Is the day before disaster the prequel to the day after tomorrow? I like that. Thanks, Ryan.
Don't give that. That's like the daddest joke of dad jokes.
I like it.
You're welcome round here.
I like
with dad jokes.
Just to finish off, I don't know if you've seen some of the latest leaks around the new Call of Duty, but that will be, according to Insider Gaming anyway, the next Call of Duty game will be Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War.
But this is the thing, is that even though Modern Warfare 3 was so bad, people are still going to buy the next Call of Duty, whatever it might be.
Which has been in development for 4 years.
Yeah,
I was going to
apparently.
I like the Black Ops games, other than 3, and I particularly the period set ones. What? I've just given you my opinion.
So apparently, obviously, it's pretty obvious that Modern Warfare 3 was meant to be DLC, and then they upped it to a full game. But normally, there's 3 years between development for each title. this year, apparently, they've been having 4 years at this Black Ops game. So let's fingers crossed for a full campaign.
All the Call of Duty players say all the
I think
time,
what the issue that I've got is that they've recycled so much and brought back all these nostalgic maps, which is great. But what are they going to do when they haven't got any nostalgic maps to remaster anymore? They've got to create something new that in 10 years' time they can remaster again. Like if they just recycle it, they've got to make something. They've got to make a new classic. You know, if they don't make anything new, what's the point?
How many times can you put Nuketown in a Cold War game?
Exactly.
In a Black Ops
Make
game,
something new. And I think Urzikstan, the new map, is a really good example of that. I think that's a really positive thing moving forward. But then obviously the reports this week say that Verdansk is apparently coming back at the end of 2024 with the launch of this game. Probably don't need it at this stage, but yeah, we'll have to see. I think that's all we've got time for this week. Unless you've got anything to say about Call of Duty, Aaron, or...
just that I probably will play Gulf War, but if the campaign's there and it's 8 to 12 hours, because I like Treyarch, man. You know what I mean? They're the ones, Infinity Ward, less so, and Sledgehammer.
They know what they're doing. Treyarch know what they're doing. I like Treyarch. Yeah,
they are the goat. They made World at War, so they can do anything in my book.
The goats. Jasmine, thank you so much for coming on this week. Really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed.
I just wanted to say earlier, but then we started talking about Call of Duty.
Okay.
I can't believe that The Last of Us won Best Adaptation over Five Nights at Freddy's. Five Nights at Freddy's was the best movie I've ever seen in my life, guys. So
see you later, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.
That's all we've got time for. Wrap it up.
But anyway, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be back, and tune in tomorrow. Me and Nathan will be streaming some Fortnite Winterfest. Nathan doesn't play Fortnite very much, so I really enjoy playing with him. I find it really funny because sometimes he hits a headshot and then won't stop talking about that headshot for like the next 20 minutes. It's very, very good, very entertaining content. So join us tomorrow for that.
Absolutely. Agree. That's what I will do. If I get a headshot, I just won't shut up about it. Aaron, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. That's all we've got time for this week. Thanks for everyone who's joined in today with the chat. Got JD, Aaron, RyXO. We got the old Scott McRae as well in the start, who obviously didn't watch just the rest of it because he just disappeared. I've also got Will as well, who put in a comment at the start. But thanks so much everyone for watching. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place for the Mirror Gamer walkthrough. But yeah, catch us tomorrow. We'll be streaming Fortnite, the new Winterfest, which starts tomorrow. But until then, see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.